all, it would misinterpret my approach to knowledge democracy to think that I'm pinning it all on the concept of indigenous knowledge. Those happen to be examples which are fairly easy for people to grasp. But I certainly remember, when the notion of women's ways of knowing, was seen by many in the academy as heretical. There's only knowing, and we've already got, and so there was, and you know very well, Rosemary, the struggle to get gender studies and women's studies, that, and so those are forms, and those came, and those struggles, they came because there were people in the streets. And there were movements, around women and their lives, and the fact that their lives were not represented in either work structures or knowledge structures. And that's exactly what I'm saying about knowledge democracy. Is that it's knowledge there are a variety of these spaces of democratic knowledge, and we do have in many universities now we do have gender studies. And we've got a lot of other studies that have been fought for. But we live, I think the point that De Sousa Santos made, we live in a world with an infinite, it's an infinitely diverse kind of a world. And so, but we don't yet have a set of knowledge structures that recognize the kind of infinite nature, of knowledge systems. So it's not just it's not just a disciplinary thing. So, okay, we've got, history, philosophy, biochemical, we're going to add, but it's a way of thinking that goes beyond interdisciplinarity. It's kind of it's a more holistic approach. So you're absolutely right about the market. That's the reason, and I kind of brushed over it in this talk, but one of the reasons I've started to work on this notion around knowledge democracy is because a knowledge economy, which we've been using, all of our vice chancellors and every higher education, every ministry all over the world, they've been using this, ad nauseum, for 30, 40 years. And some of us might have thought it was a great idea to use it at the time, but it's come to mean the training, skills preparation for the global assembly line. And that's not the only use of knowledge. Surely, God, there's other uses of knowledge. So then you get knowledge society. Knowledge society is a better concept because it talks about knowledge and citizenship and inclusion. But it doesn't talk about it doesn't talk about the multiplicity of knowledges, and it doesn't talk about multiple forms of representing knowledge. And so this is why some of us are starting to work on this notion of knowledge democracy, because we think that this is a concept around knowledge which belongs to the world that we understand. It's the world of movements. It's the world of people who been excluded or left out or whatever word you want. But the excluded and left out part of the world is growing. It's growing inexorably. These studies by these great, Wilkinson and Pickett here in the UK, the spirit level. If you look at those charts, wow. Inequality is really it's really vicious, and we simply cannot. In those of us in higher education or in these kinds of societies, we really need to. We've been here. And this has happened on our watch. So, it's time for us to... I don't know whether these kinds of ideas that I've got are, how much, as they say in the communication word, whether it has any legs or not. But there are a lot of people now that we've really got to challenge ourselves and to take from the higher education, this wonderful space of resistance and transformation and open. Take that back and say that the social is every bit has every bit as much a right in the university as the market. The market the universities have been bending over backwards to align themselves. Knowledge transfer, patenting, every kind of, structural thing, co-ownership, universities and companies. It's been going on like a bunch of thieves for 35, 40 years. What we're saying is that we want structures, we want policies that link knowledge with democratic participation, with more inclusion, and with an obvious social justice kind of aim.